Now, if you're a cancer survivor, you have likely been bombarded with advice from every corner. It feels like a whirlwind of warnings where everything you once enjoyed is now supposedly a danger. You've heard the frightening claims: sugar feeds cancer, dairy is a risk, and eating meat could cause a recurrence. It's enough to make anyone feel anxious and confused, but I want to offer you some clarity and peace of mind. The truth, based on a massive body of scientific evidence, is that only two specific types of foods have been consistently and clearly linked to a higher risk of cancer. I'm Dr. William Lee, a cancer researcher with a 15-year career, and I'm also a cancer survivor myself. I've dedicated my life to sifting through the noise to find the facts, helping thousands of women on their journey to recovery and staying cancer-free. In this video, I'm going to share exactly what those two foods are and, more importantly, what you can do about it so you can make informed decisions with confidence instead of fear. Before we dive into the two primary concerns, it's crucial that we clear the air about the most common food fears that burden cancer survivors. You deserve real, factual information, not fear-mongering headlines that cause unnecessary stress. You've already been through so much. What you need now is the confidence to know which foods will truly help you heal and which ones might be silently working against you. You've probably worried about sugar, hearing that cancer cells use it to grow. And while it's true that cancer cells use glucose for energy, so does every single healthy cell in your body, from your brain to your muscles. Attempting to completely starve cancer by cutting out all sugar is a flawed strategy, as resilient cancer cells will simply find another fuel source to continue their growth. What's far more important is maintaining a balanced overall diet and stable blood sugar levels. Whole foods that contain natural sugars, like a piece of fruit, are not the enemy and should not be a source of fear. Of course, this isn't a license to indulge in heaps of sugary junk food, but the fear that a moderate amount of sugar will directly impact your cancer risk is simply not supported by science. Similarly, there's a pervasive and outdated fear surrounding soy, which has caused immense anxiety, especially for breast cancer survivors. This concern stems from the fact that soy contains phytoestrogens, which are plant-based compounds that have a structure similar to the estrogen in your body, but similar is not the same as identical. Eating foods with phytoestrogens does not raise the levels of harmful estrogen in your body. In fact, the most current and comprehensive research has shown the opposite to be true. Consuming soy may actually help lower the risk of a breast cancer recurrence, even for women who have had hormone-positive breast cancer. The fear of soy is based on old information that has been thoroughly debunked, so you can feel confident letting that worry go. And what about animal meat? The idea that all red meat is a direct path to a cancer diagnosis is another oversimplification. Unprocessed red meat, eaten in moderation, has not been shown to increase your cancer risk. The real distinction that matters isn't the meat itself, but rather how that meat is prepared and how frequently you consume it. This brings us directly to the first category of food that the evidence clearly points to. The first food group with a clear and undeniable link to increased cancer risk is processed meats. It's important to understand that these are not just any meats you buy from the butcher. Processed meats have been fundamentally altered through methods like salting, curing, fermenting, or smoking to extend their shelf life or enhance their flavor. This category includes common items like deli meats for sandwiches, bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and even beef jerky. The scientific link is not based on small-scale studies, but on large, population-wide epidemiological research that has consistently shown a direct correlation between higher consumption of processed meats and an increased risk of several cancers, including breast, colorectal, and lung cancer. The data is shockingly specific. Eating just 50 grams of processed meat per day, which is equivalent to only 2 thin slices of bacon or 1 hot dog, can increase your risk of colorectal cancer by about 18%. As a cancer survivor myself, that is a statistic that demands attention and a risk I am personally not willing to take. You might be thinking that you've already changed so much about your life and diet. So why does this one thing matter so much? The danger lies in the processing itself. Processed meats often contain preservatives like nitrates, which, while effective at preserving color and preventing spoilage, can form cancer-causing compounds in the body. These compounds can damage the DNA within our cells, and this cellular damage is a known pathway to promoting cancer development. You may see some products labeled nitrate-free, but this can be misleading. Many of these products still contain natural sources of nitrates, like celery powder, which can behave in the exact same way inside your body. The science is still evolving to pinpoint the exact mechanism, whether it's the nitrates, the high heat from smoking, or other chemicals involved. But what we know for sure right now is that processed meats, as a category, increase cancer risk. My recommendation to my clients is simple and practical. Avoid making processed meats a part of your daily or weekly routine. Don't keep them in your house as a default option. If you are out at a brunch with friends a few times a year and want to enjoy a side of bacon, go for it without guilt. Make it the rare exception, not the regular habit. The second item on the list isn't technically a food, but a drink that is deeply embedded in our social culture: alcohol. It's no secret that excessive alcohol is harmful, but many people don't realize just how serious the connection to cancer is. The World Health Organization classifies alcohol as a Group 1 carcinogen, placing it in the same category of cancer-causing agents as asbestos, radiation, and tobacco. Alcohol consumption is linked to an increased risk of at least 7 different types of cancer, including breast, colorectal, esophageal, liver, mouth, and throat cancer. The science provides a clear dose-response relationship. The more you drink, the higher your risk. Consuming just 1 alcoholic drink per day can increase your breast cancer risk by about 9%. Even drinking just 3 drinks per week is associated with a 4% increase in risk. This includes all types of alcohol, even red wine. There's a persistent myth that red wine is healthy due to its antioxidants, but this belief is outdated. The tiny amount of antioxidants found in a glass of wine can easily be obtained from a handful of berries or grapes without the toxic effects of the alcohol itself. The simple, unavoidable truth is that the ethanol in any alcoholic beverage is toxic to the cells in your body. We all have stories of people who defy the odds, like the grandmother who drank wine every night and lived to be 103, or the lifelong smoker who never got cancer. While these stories are wonderful for those individuals, we cannot base our health decisions on rare exceptions. When we look at the data from hundreds of thousands of people, we see undeniable patterns, and the pattern here is clear. More alcohol leads to more cancer. Furthermore, the world we live in now is not our grandmother's world. We face different environmental stressors, and our food and drink are often produced differently. If you are serious about lowering your cancer risk, it's time to look at this with facts, not fear. This doesn't mean you must live in a state of constant avoidance, but rather that you are in control. You now know the data, and you can make an informed choice. You can explore the growing world of delicious non-alcoholic alternatives, or you can simply decide to reserve alcohol for very special occasions. By doing so, you are taking a powerful and proactive step in lowering your risk and prioritizing your long-term health. Ultimately, your energy is better spent on creating a vibrant, balanced overall diet rather than falling into the trap of fearing and restricting entire food groups like dairy or gluten, for which there is no clear link to cancer risk. You can absolutely live a joyful life filled with delicious food while actively lowering your risk of cancer. It's all about eating with knowledge and intention, and finally letting go of the guilt and fear.